Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fatimata Ba. My student ID is S332542. Today I will be presenting critical analysis of assertive communication in health and social care. Throughout this presentation, I will discuss its strengths, limitation, and practical application across 10 slides. Next slide, Introduction to Assertive Communication. This presentation begins by defining assertive communication before examining how it is applied in practice through a diabetes case study. It also explores how practitioners adapt both verbal and non-verbal communication to meet diverse needs, support centered care, and work effectively within multidisciplinary teams. Let's start with why this matters. In healthcare, assertive communication is the balance between being passive and being aggressive. According to Batch Grant 2015, it is essential for safe, high-quality care because it allows practitioners to advocate for patients while maintaining professional boundaries. Next slide. Defining characteristic linking to learning outcome 2, verbal and non-verbal. So what is assertiveness? Stein Parbury defines it as being clear, honest, and respectful. Theoretically, this is rooted in Peplo's interpersonal relation theory. But here is the critical part. Assertiveness isn't just about what you say. It is heavily about non-verbal behaviors. To communicate confidence without looking aggressive, a practitioner must use open body posture, uncrossed arms, and a calm, steady tone of voice, and direct, respectful eye contact. It's a full package of verbal and non-verbal adaptation. Next slide. Comparing communication styles. To understand assertiveness, we have to contrast it. A passive style avoids conflicts which create hidden resentments and compromise care. An aggressive style is loud, confrontational, and destroys professional relationships. Assertiveness sits perfectly in the middle. It is direct but deeply empathetic. It keeps the focus on patient autonomy and clinical safety. Next slide. Core clinical strength and teamwork, linking to learning outcome 5. The clinical strengths here are massive. For patients, it empowers autonomy and builds patient-centered care. But it is equally vital for multidisciplinary teamwork, which links directly to our learning outcome 5. Assertiveness gives professionals the confidence to share information clearly and prevent error during handover. For example, if a support worker notices a service user condition deteriorating, assertive communication allows them to escalate those safety concerns to a doctor or a nurse without fear. It aligns the whole team toward one shared goal, patient safety. Next slide. Practical limitation and situational hurdles. Of course, implementing this perfectly in the real world has its limitations. First, culture plays a huge role. Direct communication isn't viewed the same way in every community. Second, in high-stress clinical crisis, it is incredibly difficult to maintain a calm, perfectly measured emotional state. Finally, if your tone isn't perfectly managed, a patient who is already anxious might easily misinterpret your assertiveness as aggression. Okay, next slide. Case study: cultural respect and patient-centered care, linking to learning outcome 3. Let's look at a practical health case study. A patient with diabetes refusing insulin due to specific cultural belief. This present a major situational challenge, balancing immediate clinical urgency with the patient cultural autonomy. Instead of just using an aggressive do what I say approach, we use assertiveness to establish shared decision making. This brings us straight into learning outcome 3, person-centered care planning. Next slide. The assertive action plan and care planning. To turn this case study into a real person-centered care plan, the assertive practitioner follows an active plan. First, we use active listening to discover the true why behind their refusal. We validate their cultural belief to show respect. Then we explain the clinical risk objectively, using clear language with no medical jargon. From there, we build a collaborative care plan. This might involve a diabetes specialist nurse, arranging an interpreter, or modifying their diet. We don't just command, we cooperate. Next slide. Adaptation for diverse needs. To be fully assertive, your communication must be inclusive and accessible, which is a core standard of the Nursing and Midwifery Council. We use communication framework like the BRAIN or the Calgary Cambridge guide to structure these tough conversations. This ensures we check for the patient understanding, read their nonverbal cues, and naturally adapt our communication styles to meet their emotional needs, their emotional unique cognitive needs. Next slide. Critical evaluation, personal reflection, and conclusion. Finally, looking at the data on how we develop these skills. While peer feedback and structured training are highly effective, reflective practice is the absolute gold standard. Research suggests reflective practice is one of the most effective ways to improve communication skills. Reflecting on my own communication, my core strength is active listening and showing empathy. However, my limitation is that in high stress situations, I can slide into a more passive communication style to avoid conflicts. Moving forward, my development plan is to actively prepare my core clinical argument before difficult conversation, and consciously practice maintaining calm, open, non-verbal posture. To conclude, although operational barriers such as cultural differences and high stress environment can make assertive communication challenging, its strengths far outweigh these limitations. It protects patient safety, support multidisciplinary teamwork, and promote person-centered care. Ultimately, effective assertive communication enables healthcare professionals to deliver safe, compassionate, and person-centered care while working collaboratively with multidisciplinary teams. It remains a fundamental skill for professional nursing practice. Thank you for your time, and I welcome any questions.